Considering that I wouldn't even play guitar without this guy right here, Mr. Billie Joe Armstrong of Green Day, it's pretty doggone special to be sitting here in my home studio right next to his brand new signature amp from Marshall. This is the Marshall 1959 BJA, and it was born and bred to reproduce the amazing guitar tones from records like Dookie, Insomniac, Nimrod, and beyond, because the sound of a cranked up 100-watt Marshall Super Lead is something that we've been listening to our entire lives because it just sounds so good. On today's video, I'm going to show you guys everything you need to know about this incredible amp, which I think really might be the best sounding Marshall I've ever played. Hey there kids, and welcome to a brand new installment of Meet the Machines, the gear series for people who like things that are nice. I'm Uncle Ben, and I like things that are nice. And I just had something extremely nice land on my doorstep here, courtesy of the fine folks over at Sweetwater, the greatest online music retailer in this reality and beyond. Be sure to give them all your hard-earned money papers because they really are the best and have a selection of incredible pieces of gear, like the one that we're going to be talking about today. And they're nice. I like nice. If you also like things that are nice, be sure to check out the super extended ad-free cut of this video that's only available on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. People are saying it's the greatest guitar cult that has ever existed, and I'm here to agree with them. Sign up today, even for just $1 a month, you're going to get access to that video and hundreds of other goodies. So be sure to sign up over at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. I'll see you there. Okay, here's a speed run of all the gear I'm going to be using in this video, that way we can get straight on to checking the amp out. For the Dookie era tones, I'm going to be using my Sir S Classic Polonia right here, which is an incredible guitar. For the more aggressive tones on Insomniac, I want to mash on my Gibson Les Paul /Victoria Gold Top with the bare knuckle Black Dog pickups. And for the stuff off of Nimrod and American Idiot, I needed something with P90s here, which is why I borrowed this lovely Les Paul Special from my good friend Phil. Be sure to check out Phil over there on the Instagriddles. He's a great guy and my vibrato role model. So thank you to Phil for loaning me this guy. I'm going to be going straight into the amp with minimal pedals, and I'll notate that whenever I'm using a pedal in the video. I have an ISP noise decimator that I'll probably mostly use with this guy because single coils are noisy and my studio is in a very old building. And I might goose it up with the Warm Audio fluff drive out front for a little extra gain and saturation. As usual, I'll have that running into the Universal Audio aux, where I'll be using a V30 cab for most of this video, as well as a 67 and a 414 on it. I'm not going to do any post EQ compression, anything like that. I just want you guys to hear what this thing sounds like because it is ripping and amazing. Enough with the chin wagging. Let's get into it. Whenever I'm checking out a new amp, the first thing that I do is set all the EQ to noon and let it rip. So let's go ahead and start there. Yeah, so pretty minimal tinkering, and we're already right there in the ballpark of that classic tone from Dookie. This amp is very flexible, and this is what really surprised me about it. The range of the gain pot, the range of the EQ pots is way wider than what it used to be on the old Super Leads. So I'll demonstrate this a little bit as we go along through the video here, and I'll be putting the amp settings and stuff on screen. Personally, I like the extra bite that you get when you take everything a little bit past noon. So let's go ahead and tweak these EQs a little bit more and make everything a little bit more everything-er. So one of my favorite things about the amp is as you roll the gain down below noon, it's like, yeah, it gets less distorted, but it also gets like more stringy. You can hear more of the guitar shining through the amp. And that's one of the things that I like the most about this thing. It really lets the player and the guitar speak. You're gonna hear as we go through the different instruments through this video, every guitar really has its own voice with this amp because it's not like an ultra compressed, ultra high gain beast like a lot of us are playing. Let's roll that gain down a little bit, you'll hear what I'm talking about. The mid-range knob on the amp does a lot to shape the tone of this thing. So with it cranked all the way up, it gets extremely mid-rangey, as you'll hear throughout the video. And you can also scoop out quite a lot and really let the low end of the amp shine through. But personally, I think the amp sounds best whenever those mids are really cranked, so I've been finding myself keeping it at 6 or above. And of course we can turn up the gain, increase the treble and the presence, and just get more of that classic Marshall bite, which I can never get enough of. Now this has a really minimal set of controls on it. 3-band EQ, presence, there's a master volume and a gain on it. We have a high input, low input, speaker jacks, blue Tolex. That's kind of it. There's not an effects loop, there's no additional buttons or switches or knobs to make things more complicated. It's just a plug in and let it rip kind of amp. Dookie tones, check. Now let's check out some of the Insomniac type tones this amp is capable of delivering in spades, thanks to its gracious amount of gain that it has on tap and that very flexible EQ. I always thought that Insomniac had a little bit more, a little bit more metal tone. It's a little bit more scooped, more bassy, definitely had more gain on it, and this thing can nail those tones, especially if you use an overdrive in front, like the Warm Audio Fluff Drive that I'm using right now. So that fluff drive out front is adding in more saturation like what we hear on that record. And as you're seeing here, scooping at those mids does a lot to shape that tone and make it a lot more beefy and aggressive. Personally, I like the additional gain from the pedal and goosing those mids back up. Let's check this out. So now by contrast, let's take the pedal off, turn the gain up more, let the amp do the talking there, and keep that slightly scooped setting. So I've noticed the amp gets like darker and fuzzier and more like doomy as you turn the gain up. So let me keep the EQ settings the same, and I'm just gonna run the gain all the way up for this one. Yeah, it's got to be like the happiest looking amp to ever bust out some classic doom tones, right? One of my favorite tones from this amp comes from the Les Paul plus the boost out front, and just using the settings of the beast, everything at 6 right here on the EQ. I've got the gain a little bit under noon. Sounds like glorious rock fury. Even with like all the gain on there and so much EQ happening. There's just a lot of lows, a lot of mids, a lot of highs. It's kind of a lot of everything. Even with all that going on, you can still hear all the notes in those chords so clearly. That's just like a perfect rock tone for anything. It doesn't have to be for your Green Day tribute band or whatever. That's just a great rock tone. And because of the openness and like uncompressed nature of the amp, that means it responds really well to dynamics, whether that be how hard you're playing, how high up your volume knob is, whatever. Scope this out. And yes, this song is from Dookie. Whatever. This amp doesn't sleep on the Insomniac tones. That's all I got. So some of my favorite Green Day tones are on the Nimrod album, which has a ton of great songs on it. The tone on that was like a lot more P90 driven. It was a lot lower gain and stringier. It had way less distortion on it than Insomniac or some of those other records. It's almost more of like a classic AC/DC kind of tone when you think about it. There are some tracks that get gainier, but I'd say the basis of that sound is a more low gain P90 classic rock kind of tone. You heard a lot of this on the American Idiot record too, which just has incredible sounds on it. I'm still going to be on the high side of the amp here at first, but I've got the gain a lot lower, and of course these P90s are going to change the sound a lot because this amp really lets the guitar shine through. You can really hear that stringiness, you know, that bite that you get out of it. Really gives you that like Malcolm Young kind of thing, you know? So one of the best things about this amp, and definitely your neighbor's favorite part about this amp, is that you don't have to get it up to like stadium level volume to get that gain and get that saturation like you did with the old Super Leads. Those things had to be cranked to oblivion to get good and crunchy. But this has a master volume on it that works pretty doggone well and retains a really nice full tone even at more controllable volumes. That being said, you are going to have more fun if you play it louder, you know, because these amps are not very preamp driven. They're very power amp heavy. So to get them really sounding right, you need to get those big tubes cooking, man, get those things glowing. So you might want to use like a power attenuator or something like that if you want to get that fully cranked tone at a lower volume. But again, with the master, does a pretty dang good job. Let's go into the low input right here and check this out. This is going to be really great for songs like The Grouch, which has a really great riff at the top of it. So you can hear how stringy and, I don't know, almost acoustic-y the tones on that are with the P90s. So whenever we go back to the high side and you pile the gain on with the P90s, you get a pretty epic magical tone. Check this out. Definitely gonna have to turn that ISP noise decimator on for this one because P90s be noisy. The thing about it is like that to me is a very all-purpose tone. Like if I was playing in like a classic rock cover band, I could show up with that sound right there and nail the gig. I hope that just made some fellow Supernatural fans very excited. Let's get this guy back out here. Hey, seriously, listen to this. Maybe a little bit more gain on there, you know? And you're getting into that Van Halen turf. Easy, dude. Yeah, because I know every Green Day fan tuned in to hear me play Girls' School by Brittany Fox through Billie Joe's Amp. But it just goes to show you that like that classic Marshall tone that we've been hearing on records our whole lives is there for a reason. It always works. It's the sound of guitar, and this amp does it better than just about anything that I have tried. This is seriously one of the greatest Marshalls, new or old, I have ever played. And there's so much more to it than punk rock power chords. Although it is fucking perfect for that too. So there you go, guys, a deep dive look at the new Marshall 1959 BJA Billie Joe Armstrong Super Limited Edition amp. Be sure to snag yourself one of these bad Larrys from the fine folks at Sweetwater. They're not going to be in production very long, from what I understand. So this is going to be a very hot ticket item. Plus, come on, it looks freaking awesome. And it sounds even better. I'm blown away by this thing. I've been messing around with it with my different guitars and in different tunings and stuff. And seriously, expect this thing to be seen in a lot more videos, man. I had some really great, like, classic Mastodon sounds going yesterday with one of my Dunable guitars and, like, a boost out front. Dude, this thing can get meaner than a striped snake, I'll tell you what. So expect to see this thing featured on my channel a lot here soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and a huge thanks goes out to Billie Joe Armstrong, Mike Dirnt, and Trey Cool for inspiring me to play music. I mean, seriously, like, Green Day was one of the first bands that I heard when I was, like, I mean, gosh, 10 or 12 years old, that gave me the hope that one day I could do this stuff. I grew up listening to ZZ Top and Van Halen and, you know, the guitar Mount Olympus stuff that lived in my dad's vinyl collection. And that never seemed possible to me. I never thought I was capable of anything like that. But I heard Green Day and I was like, these are young guys and this stuff sounds awesome and I love the music and I bet that I could try it. It seemed accessible. It seemed like something that I could do, and it literally inspired me to pick up a guitar. So ultimate thanks for everything to Billie Joe and company, man. Without that record, without that, and like the Weezer Blue album, I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff. So mondo appreciato. Be sure to give this video a like and a subscribe. Check out the super extended cut that's only available over on the Patreon page, patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Hundreds of other goodies are waiting for you there too, as well as a bunch of awesome people just like yourself. So don't delay, sign up today. As you go through your week, be good to somebody out there. We can make the world a kinder, gentler, more better place, one act of kindness at a time that begins with you and I. So whether it's the person behind you at the coffee shop or the person below you in the comments section, don't be a dick. Be nice. We like nice. Now get away from computer machine, grab that rock guitar, start mashing out some chords. Less clicking, more picking.